Welcome everybody to What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. I have to say golf talk at the end because last week YouTube decided to think that our discussion was a little bit less than stand up, I suppose. So I had them re-review it and they said, congratulations, you're okay. I said, well, thanks for that. So what's in my drawers? And as most of you know, that old club makers are tremendous pack rats, and that's how all this started, was talking about history. Now it's evolved into talking with folks all over the globe in order to talk golf repair, golf fittings, golf opinions, whatever we want to talk about golf, right? And we got to do it for the next hour, so this is going to be quite nice. It's the, what is it, 118 edition. And you can see it's starting to get a little dark. There we go. And it was snowing again here. We've had snow on and off, and it's not covering anything, but it's just been cold. So good time to be indoors, right? Good time to be indoors. All right, so like we do everything, I want to do something a little bit different on the golf, right? We had the Sony Open in Hawaii, and we saw Kevin Na took it. Congratulations to Kevin with 21 under. He shot a -5 round in order to stay ahead of Chris Kirk and Joaquin Neiman, and who both shot -20. But I want to give a shout out to the guy who finished just above the cut, Jerry Kelly. He finished even with shooting +5. And the thing is, even if he would have shot even for that day, he would only been 2 more positions above the final, being above the cut. So you got to give the guys, the guy made it. So give him a little nod, bigger nod to Kevin Na, and away you go. Congrats to him. So that means he's coming back to Hawaii again, right? All right. Something special I want to share with you guys is, none of you guys know, but my mom passed away a while back, and she left me and Robin a chair. And it was pink, and it was awful, and it was nasty, but it was an extraordinarily comfortable chair. And Robin, for our anniversary, went into the stockpile of fabric that we've had from my mom as well in storage, and she found a guy to reupholster it, and in this particular stuff. And I'm not going to post it up. Oh, sorry. But I wanted to show you guys on my phone. That's what it looks like now. So it's got that old vibe, that old feel, new vibe, and it is still extraordinarily comfortable. And the dogs they jump in my lap a lot easier now. So thank you, Robin, and thank you, Mom. Now, onto the stuff. We talk about what I do during the week in the builds. And I want to show you another one. I know it's not real fancy, but we're going to go like that. I'm going to show you 2 pictures. There's one. I get it to focus. Yeah. Those are Srixon, the new Srixon XZ5s. I'll give you a better one here. There we go. XZ5s. And they turned out good. I'm really kind of excited about these, the Srixon line. They, of course, they've done everything the same way. They have the player's model, the average model, and the very forgiving model. But none of them have, except for the last one. The other 2 don't have a whole lot of offset on them. However, they have a really nice top line. They're forged clubs, and they have a very large sole that has that V shape in it. And that's to not get caught. You can use it. It's good through the thick rough, but if you're a thumper, it's pretty good. And if you're a sweeper, you may or may not like it. I'll just go with that. But the quality of the build, or the quality of the head, was right there. So we did really, really well. And last but not least, if you guys that watch the fact that I got a new frequency machine, and Steve that normally comes on here was asking about it, I got a new frequency chart. a new frequency chart. And so how does one get that? Well, I reached out to Dave Egger, who is basically the generator of that whole PCS equalizer program, and asked him if he had it. Now, this was back in the day when 486 computers were all the rage, right? That thing was a dinosaur. And I was able to give him the number, and he was able to make me or send me the workings of a new chart. So we're set and ready to go. All right, last thing. Now this is a real one here. There it is, D7 Fords. These things have been taken off like hotcakes, and we're with the. Whoop, how about I give it to you the right way? With the Acura shaft in it. This is the Acura Series 80, and the gentleman that's getting these really struck them well, and then finished it off with Vinny. And we finished them off with the Wilson staff. This wedge has been really surprisingly good as of late with the 105 wedge shaft in it. So, well done, Vinny. They came out really, really well, and they're ready, bud. So there you go. Another thing, guys and gals, if you're watching, please like and subscribe. Follow me on my other social platforms in Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, if you would. And I guess I can show you these. I'm going to release them soon. Oh, videos. Let's do that. Videos. Tomorrow is the end of the embargo date for the Wilson D9. All right, the Wilson D9. And it looks a lot like this. See that? And but I did a review on the iron and the hybrid, and it's working they work very, very well. They're very, very nice. And tomorrow's the end of the embargo date, so YouTube should light up like fireworks on the new iron. I tried the driver, and so far the driver hasn't even made it to my rep yet. So when that shows up, we'll do that one as well. And as you guys have seen, and we'll talk about this if you want to ask me any questions about this guy or this guy, right? Or, if I can get it here, that guy. That's right, the Epic is out. The Epic has been released, and YouTube was all aflutter with it. And, of course, I got all my stuff about 2 days afterwards, and I have been hitting golf balls like a madman. And there is a difference, I'm going to tell you. I just finished the video. I'm going to release that again this week. I'm going to do it on Thursday. Now, what do you guys think about a Thursday release date? If you guys were going to watch a second video of this, not on Tuesday, what would be a good date for you? You guys let me know, and then we'll determine at the end of this when I release it. But I tested all three. I hit it with they come with the Project X Smoke Green and the MMT and a new one called the Cypher. The Cypher is going to be for the lightweight, probably smoother swingers, where the MMT is probably going to be gauged for that guy in between, and then the Smoke with the slightly stronger. And although I don't consider myself a stronger golfer, it worked out really, really well. So we're going to go with that. And and the slider's back, right? The slider's back. Slider's back on this guy, but not on that guy. And the cool part about it is, if you've discussed moving of weight, that has always been light. In this particular instance, it's running around 17 grams. Which is massive, all right? Massive correction value. So we certainly want to go with something like that, right? This is just a day full of kinds of news. I got something new so we're in with Srixon now, and we build things mostly from a component form, much like we do with Mizuno and Wilson. And the Srixon's not going to be any different. And I got a new hybrid. And, of course, it's a lefty hybrid, yay. I just wanted to see if it's got kind of that old, if you can see into it. And there we go. See, it's got that kind of rail on the top. It's kind of reminiscent of a halo, right? So they took off that stuff from the halo. And this came with a Riptide in it. a Riptide. Now I just received a right-handed version of the same thing, and it had a hazardous smoke in it. So a lot of variety happening. And as soon as my demos show up, or my heads show up for the demo, I'm going to do a video on that. A lot going on, right? So that's really, really good. And that's, I don't know, pretty much hit it. And we'll go through it. I'll tell you the last bit of the news that I had. All right, so let's go to the front. To the top. Here we go. Dean Parks. What'd Dean do? He bought a set of Ping I2 irons a couple of years ago. Those are still nice today. Really, I really tried to learn to play them with no luck. Sold them yesterday for a slight profit. They were pretty to look at, and yes, they are. That's probably to date, Dean, that's probably to date one of the most popular irons that Ping has ever produced. And yes, and I can't tell you how many shafts I've pulled out of those things for that very thing that you were looking at. And because the ZZ Light isn't exactly light. I got a whole set of them, I think, or I got the JZs, I think. And they're not light, but they were good clubs, including the woods, right? Everybody liked the Ping I2 blondes. I had the blacks. Those things hit a ton, hit an absolute ton. All righty. A Meline 992. Okay. Good evening, and from a black flag, but if I see another comment, it's Scotland. And thank you for taking the time to actually watch from over there. I know it's very late. And hopefully you guys over in the UK, Scotland, and all that neck of the woods, I hope you guys are getting through the lockdown and that we get through this thing safely. All right, do you have any info on the KBS one-step tour putter shaft, how it compares to the BGT? As far as comparisons go, no, I don't have any information. However, I do know about the KBS one-step, and basically if you can think of, you know how both the BGT and the UST all started out pretty big and then went and got narrow. The KBS is no different, but it's in just one piece. And they figured out how to get it into one piece. And in talking with Kim Braley, that step to get it down there was the real trick. And it's supposed to have the same kind of qualities that the other ones have. However, I haven't tested them. I'm just telling you what they're telling me. And of course, everybody likes the BGT. I don't know what the KBS putter shaft is going to go for, but certainly not as much as the BGT. I'm sure of that. Let me move my pen. All righty. Here we go. Mr. Matt, how are you, sir? Shot a 75 before the snow came. And you are the man. Oh, look at that. Explain the benefit of counterbalance. Does it help players with short swings like me, loving the Jumbo Max grip? Good. I'm glad to hear it. All right, counterbalance was one of the things that Matt and I talked about when he came to visit on the very last on his last visit, and it was his birthday, by the way. Counterbalancing. All right, counterbalancing. What does it really do? Well, basically, it puts weight here, right here. It puts it in the hands. Now, there's extreme counterbalancing where you can use stuff like Balance Certified and the Tour Balance type stuff, where it's basically hunks of metal, adjustable metal, that stick into the back end of the butt, and you're really, really counterbalancing. In the Nicholas era, and the reason why I know this is because I talked to his club maker, is that Nicholas was a counterbalancing guy. So think about that kind of swing. Nicholas was a bomber, right, and just a hard swinging guy. And so what they used to do is they would put a wooden dowel, and they would glue a wooden dowel into the butt of the club, and then they would drill it. And they would figure out how much, they would have molten lead, and they would figure out how much they have to pour in the hole in order for it to get the weight that he was looking for, and then plug it, and then grip it, and away it goes. So even back in the day, this isn't new technology by any shape of the imagination, but he was able to use this counterbalance to his advantage. Now, where I've seen personally that it's worked very, very well is in long drive, right? Long drive and guys that are fairly aggressive. Now, fairly aggressive could also be like Matt. Matt takes an abbreviated backswing, but he also accelerates very, very hard to get the ball to go where he wants it to go. And that could be construed as a kind of an aggressive turn into the ball. And what that does is that places the weight here so that when you're taking it on the backswing, you feel it here. You're not tracking this guy. You're tracking where your hands are. And then all of a sudden you can set yourself. And that's basically the real benefit of it. It's been known to increase swing speed. It's been known to smooth out swings as a whole because they were very, very violent, and it slowed them down. It's also done a lot of these different things. So there's a lot of benefit to it. The one golfer type that I see that it doesn't really get to is that person that is super duper smooth, because it feels like the club is too much right there, just the opposite. Now, the other part about counterbalancing, and we just talked about it with the putter shafts, by redistributing the weight into the butt of the club, which we see in the Stroke Lab type setup, they do the same thing, is that it quiets the fast twitch muscles, right? The fast twitch, and it slows them down so that your putting is smoother and more consistent, and that works. And that's about a 95 to 97% success rate with just about everybody, because when you smooth out your putt, you smooth out the roll, it tends to go where you want it to go, the whole 9 yards. Whew, there you go, Matt. Northeast Missouri. Yeah, you and me both, bud. Good. Good. I'm glad to see that, bud. Glad to see that. Oh, here we go, Paul. What's going on? Well, Paul, I'm going to tell you that it's going to look a lot better, and it's going to feel a little bit softer, and it will probably go just a tad further. All things created equal, and it was just by the improvements that they've made. I'm not going to say from the 7 to the 9, it's a 10 yards further club. No, it's not. But it's from a comparison standpoint, it looks good. So in reality, if you want to see it tomorrow, the video will be, it's 7 a.m. in the morning. It's on the platter Do I sound like somebody from Hollywood or what? It's scheduled in. I've got it setting in at YouTube. It's already loaded. 7 o'clock in the morning. Take a look. And then if you like it, let us know. Lombard, Mr. Jack, how are you, sir? Mr. Bartholomew, how are you, sir? Got a place for it finally. David, hope you're staying safe as well, as it is my birthday. What workshop tool gadget would you recommend I suggest the wife get me as a present? David, is there a budget involved? Is there a budget involved? So I was just talking with Mondaire about tools again, and I'm going, you saw where I got the new frequency machine. I got a new ruler as well. But I would take a look at, the things that I use most, basically, the things I use most are the frequency machine, something that measures the swing weight, total weight. They've got an auditor model that does a lot all in the same shot. That would be, in my mind's eye, that would be extraordinarily useful. But on the other side, a high-quality shaft puller, right? A high-quality shaft puller, particularly where you're wanting to go. If you're going to do a lot of it, high-quality shaft puller. Time, ease, no damage, the whole 9 yards. to the point, you guys have seen what I've had on mine. Ken doesn't make that anymore. And that thing's got to be, I don't know, how old do you think that is? 15 years old, easy? And all I've done is change the hydraulic cylinder developed a leak. Outside of that, I've changed nothing. And that thing pulls the heads off of, everything. There's nothing that's not been able to pull. High quality shaft puller. And that will make your day so much easier and so much faster. But if you're more into the measuring, I would go with that one. I'm really intrigued with that. It's the auditor that you put in there, and it gives you total weight, swing weight, and if you set up the laser, it actually gives you length. I'm not so certain. You got to really be a believer, but it gives you a lot of information in one way, and and a small footprint too. So I would go with that. Alrighty, how are the new Srixon irons? Will you be reviewing them? Russ, thanks for the lead-in. Oh wait, it's too late. Yes. And I've worked with the ZX5s like I just showed in the picture, and I've got to be honest, the quality of the build is really up there. It's not disappointing. Even back in the day, we'll say even again 15, 20 years ago, Srixon and Bridgestone both made gear, and they just never promoted it because they're too busy selling golf balls. And the quality of the forging on both of these were top notch, and nothing's changed. Nothing has changed. And so good stuff they got coming out. I'm really interested in the drivers, and the stuff is slowly feeding to me for some reason. And I don't know why that is, but every time I do this, when I go into a component contract with a larger OEM, it's like they're nervous, and we're taking these baby steps to get there until they're like, oh yeah, he's okay, he's not a bonehead, and they'll do it. So I'm kind of doing that. I think that's what's happening here. But a little bit every day. As soon as these irons come in, I'm testing them because I'm kind of excited to see them. Can a putter grip be installed without using grip tape? Yeah. What's the easiest way to align with the head if using a flat sew type grip? All right, Jack, the way that you can put it on without grip tape is with air. Now, I necessarily wouldn't try that on a Super Stroke grip, though, because it's a synthetic grip, which means there's this underlisting of some material, and a lot of times it can be porous, or it's really thick and it doesn't want to give, and that air shot that hits it will go plunk. There's a lot of chance for breakage, but you can get it on there. Back in the day, and I hate to tell you this because I don't want you to go out and try it, but back in the day, the guys used to put on grips with rubber cement. And they would put and that was the greasy, so it was how rubber cement was greasy at the beginning? So you had to be really fast. You get it on there, and you put it on there. Now, taking it off, that's a whole nother problem. It's blow torches and knives and going into major surgery and the whole 9 yards. It's awful. So I wouldn't do that. But you can try air. I wouldn't recommend it, but yes, you can. Alrighty, easiest way to align them with the head if using a flat sew grip. So there's a couple of ways of doing this. I'm going to I tend to eyeball it anymore, but what I do is I put I'm trying to figure out if I got something that would mimic it. All right, what I do is I put it in a clamp, and I clamp it up like this. I clamp it in the toe up position. And then what I do is I have a Torpedo Level. It's just one little $5 deal you can get anywhere. And I rubber band it to the top, and I make sure that the plumb or the bubble is in the exact center. Now you know that thing is straight up and down, ready to go. And then the flat sews have a very, very flat end, and then you just come in at a 90, and assuming this is where it's at, and you really didn't want to look at it, you could take your Torpedo Level and set it on the flat sew and make sure that thing's in the middle, and do it like that. Now, after doing that, and I did that for a long time, and now what I've gotten to is I've seen what it does. When you pull it out of the jig and you're really happy with it, pick it up and eyeball it with your dominant eye so that you're looking over top of the grip and you're looking at the face. So if you can get it'll be like this, a look like that, and see if you can get a 90 degree, and you line up the line of the grip, the top end of the grip, with the sight line of the putter, and you'll be in good shape. All right. Guys, this is good stuff all of a sudden. Look at that. All right, what do we got here? Mr. James, good first name. Baltimore, all right. Top 3 wedge shafts, Gurley Gaming, C-Taper Light, Stiff, and Irons. Right now, James, my most very favorite wedge shaft right now has to be the Modus wedge shaft. And it's only because I'm gaming it. Right? They come in 3 different weights, and if you're in the 110, you could either go with the 115 or the 125. And that, my friend, is the reason why I like them, because they come in a 105, 115, and a 125. And what I like making the wedge shafts just a hair heavier, so you're with those slower swings and the more precise swings, you can still feel it. Right? So I'm gaming 105 shafts, and I got 115s in my wedges. Now, that's number 1. Number 2, and an extraordinarily close number 2, and I've done tons of these shafts, is KBS. KBS has a high rev, and then they have the 610. And the high rev is exactly what it's for. Hit it higher, spin it more. The 610 is basically the same thing, only less of it. Not nearly as high, a little less spinny. And we're talking like this much. So the guy that's more of a pincher of the ball, whenever something hits, it comes screaming off of the green, the 610. Anybody else, it would be the other one. They come in 120, 125 type stuff. Not so much in low type things, right? And third, in one of my favorites, it's one of 2. They're kind of tied. The other one would be, and they're both out of the same company now, True Sports. Acura makes a wedge shaft out of graphite, and the Catalyst, there's a wedge shaft out of that. And the reason being, the thing is, the 125 shaft, or the Acura shaft is a 125 shaft. So if you had to have something heavy, there you go. And they make a 103. So you got that kind of, where the Catalyst runs at around an 80. So it would stay in line with those lightweight iron shafts. But that's where I would go with it. Honestly, not a bad pick in the group. All righty. Vince, how are you, sir? Single length, okay. Number 1, I'm going to self-promote. I did a video on single length and show you what I got. And there is merit to it. All right, there is merit to single length golf clubs. The thought process to a single length is just too easy to accept. Same swing, every club, ball goes different directions or different distances based on what it does. I think that's a good idea. Now, is it good for everybody? Answer is no. Just like there's not one shaft, one head, one grip, nothing. This is another option available to people. Everyone that I've made these for, I've put them through a test of my own, and where I've had a 6-iron and a 9-iron, and I had them hit it, and they had to make a prescribed distance gap between the two, and if they couldn't do it, I wouldn't make it, and because the golfer just wouldn't enjoy the set, and we can go from there. However, if they did, and they were ready and willing to accept the fact that they were all single length, then they went out and shot some of the lowest scores of their life in the very first round they had them. So there's something to be said. Now, what I did find, now I don't know if it was just me or whatever, but when I hit mine, I tested a pitch and wedge, a 7-iron, and a 5-iron, and the apex of every one of the shots was the same within a couple of feet. And it's just that the pitching wedge arced early, the 7-iron arced a little bit later, and then the 5-iron arced all the way at the end. Still got where it needed to go. I didn't notice it until I was actually looking them up. But to answer the question, I think they're a good idea if you're mentally prepared for it. Mr. Willard? Well, it's snowy down here, but not nearly as much as it is up there, I am sure. Mr. Kyle on Facebook, how are you, sir? Do you have the new line of Callaway irons for fittings yet? If not, when do you expect them? I want to try the Apex Pro in my next iron fitting. So do I. So do I. The fitting cart stuff is trickling in. This was the beginning of it right here. I got the Epic line here. I totally expect the Apex and the Apex Pro to show up, and we've asked for them as fast as possible. So I fully expect them, hopefully by month's end, right? Hopefully by month's end. Let me yell out to Mrs. McGolf. Did we get any idea when the fitting stuff was going to show up? Huh. Look at that. Ask and you shall receive. It's shipping this week. So if it's not by the slow boat postal service right now, this is Monday this week, it might be here by the end of this week, and we can really have some fun. All right. There's Grinchy Chingo. Fort Worth, thank you, sir, for checking in. I'm glad to see it. Hope everything is good down there. There's Poss. Hopefully London. Hopefully you guys are doing good. Greg Mack, good morning. Good morning. Best wishes from Greg. Queensland. Look at that. Hopefully I'm saying it right, Greg. 8:30 a.m. Tuesday. He's ahead of the game on us. Woohoo! That's a new one. Thanks for joining us, sir. Travis, how are you? Yeah, same to you. It's Monday. Boy, oh boy, today was a rough one. We got kind of started early, didn't we? My buddy wants the spinniest golf ball at the moment. Huh. Well, they all... You know what's probably the spinniest golf ball right this very second? Is the Wilson Staff Naked Golf Ball. And I'm pretty certain that's probably it. So the Wilson Staff is that's their Wilson's try to make it into the tour level golf ball thing, okay? And the Wilson Staff, normally golf balls come with a urethane coating on them. That covering that makes them shiny some kind of it's urethane. And it makes them shiny. And it protects them from getting gooey and stainy and all that stuff. Well, they tried something new in that they wanted to, they left that protective shininess off, and so it's dull in color, and you hit it once and it's stained, but it spins like crazy. There you go. All right, David, when measuring length, especially in irons, do you go with 60 degrees or stop or adjust dynamically to the lie? I adjust dynamically to the lie, sir. Which gives a truer measurement of length? Is one better than the other? Oh, that's a great question, bud. It's a chicken or the egg kind of thing. Personally, I like the dynamic as a truer length of measurement because everybody talks about a club in the playing position, right? And the playing position is how that thing is sold. If it's sold in the middle and each one has a varying change in its dynamic or its lie angle, then to me, that's a truer sense of the number. Now, what is the change? Because, max might be, the max change could be as low as 58 and it could be as high as, on the average, is 64, but as high as 66 and some others. So if it was a more flatter club, right? If it was a flatter club and you were going 60, it would actually seem longer. At least I think I got this figured out. And if it was more upright club, it would show up shorter. So you wouldn't necessarily, and the difference between the two, if everything's not, outrageously upright or outrageously flat, the difference is like this much. Okay. But I would look at, in my mind, I just think that when you're putting it in the playing position and it measures out, everything's fine. And the only time you have to worry about length is when you're at the very longest part of it at 48 inches, or is it at 19, I believe, is the lowest you can go. So those are the only two times you really have to worry. Travis, just got a new shaft for my driver. Gonna go with the Even Flow Riptide. Very good. The Even Flow Riptide's actually quite nice. It's that just a little bit better than stout shaft, and it's the way that it's constructed. It's very, very, I'll say consistent. It was very consistent. Nice little. I'm not digging. I like the lettering because it's kind of a brownish burnt orange, and that's different. And I like the different part. But the outside of that, the graphics just needed to be a little bit bigger. I'm picking on that part of it, but the shaft itself is really, really nice. All right, Scrunchy, what do we got? If I have a Project LZ60 on my 4-through pitch, what would a good driving iron shaft be with someone with a bit of speed but not a heavy loader? All right, well, that's kind of what the LZs are doing, right? And what a lot of people are doing, there's nobody really making a driving iron shaft per se that I'm aware of, and because the driving irons are a little heavier than what the standard, let's say 3-iron would be, and so they've been using a couple of different methods. Either you can just get another very longer version of the LZ if you just like that feel. But what most people have been doing is been putting the hybrid type shafts in there, and what you like the feel of. And now if you're loading the Project LZ in the 6.0, if you were staying in that lineup, there was a Project X Smoke, but there was one that was I believe it was red. You might look at that one. That one is not too bad. A favorite of mine is an Acura shaft. They make a really good one in the FX line. It's just a really nice one. Now I have seen if you're a smoother swinger, VA Composites just released a Nemesis one. It's a counterbalanced hybrid shaft, which I am totally intrigued with, and the guy running that show, that's going to be a good one to be sure. So you can check those. What's going on, Pui? Checking in from wet Cornwall yet again. Has it ever stopped raining in the last week for you? Had to hit with a Pro Launch shaft on the Proximate. If we're locked down, hitting it pretty well, just need to flatten out the lie. Okay, well done, sir. I would imagine that simulators are all the rage in London or the UK area right now. Wonder why. Oh, you wonder if it's not under my name. Let me see. Let's see. Gotta take a look here. Nope. Well, it's my story. Let's see. I gotta go back. As you can tell, I'm not very... No. Here's the reason why. IA McGolf. IA McGolf. That's the reason why. It was short for I am McGolf. I was playing a word. Doesn't do real good if you want people to find you. Jerry Smiley, what's going on? Hello, Jim Rom. 65 degrees, a lot of wind in Texas. Yeah, we had some friends down there. They got some snow. Oof. Finished extension of the form, but now head sure feels light compared to my other irons. Really? I don't know why that would be. If you have a swing weight scale, or better yet, if everything, all things created equal, Jerry, you can, if you've got a gram scale, measure it and make sure that the thing weighs somewhere between 5 and 7 grams less than the 5-iron, and see if that does. And if it's on there the same, it was probably a light club to begin with. I don't know. Oh, if you're talking about the Epic, yeah, I'm gonna put. Once you see the video release, you'll understand why. But the Max LS is going in my bag, whether I got to take one of these fitting heads or they send me one. What do you say, Mr. Swinger? from Sweden. Glad to see you could make it on there. Hopefully you're not covered up under too much snow. Yep, I did it again. Get to the top. Here we go. Ugh. Hope all is well. High winds, temperature here are nice. Yeah, thanks, dude. Just finished reshafting irons projects. Oh, the PXVs. Okay. I want to thank you for sharing. Well, you're welcome, sir. Hopefully they work out. Yes, it is. If you're talking about the Strixon one, it's a little closed in the face, but I can handle that with a hand placement. But it doesn't look too bad. Dave from Michigan is with us. Thank you, sir. Dave, would you say the Patterson one-link shafts are significantly better as they're a lot more money than premium graphite shafts, KBS, Aerotech? That's in the, David, a lot of this is in the eye of the beholder. I really like these guys because they made it. I'm real big with a shaft that's for a specific purpose. Like KBS TGI is an excellent graphite shaft. So is steel fiber. And when you put them together, each shaft is made for a particular setup, right? Now, there's always been a question out there on single length whether or not, the taller one might need more kick, where the middle one wouldn't, and the bottom one would need less in order to take up for the loft or the technology that's being put into the head. Because, again, in a purist format, one head, one shaft, one grip, one swing, and just pick one and go. So in theory, you should be able to put in any of those shafts and make it happen, right? And you should be able to go there. The Patterson shaft has moved the balance point / kick point around a little bit to aid those people in the very thing that he was hearing, in that you couldn't get the 5-iron up in the air and the wedges went too high. Obviously it worked because I hit everything the same height. And it still got out there, and I didn't think it felt bad. I thought it felt really good, as a matter of fact. Now, it was also a 110. They make some other weights, but significantly, if you were going to be doing a premium set, I would certainly consider Patterson. Unfortunately, from a business standpoint, Patterson is not as well known as a KBS or an Aerotech. So that's something else to consider as well. There's the Sis from Wisconsin. Jenny do good at the batting cages? I saw the pictures. There's Sonny V from Ontario. Oh, are you under some snow, bud? How heavy and adjustable for a weight are those driver heads? Are the heads getting heavier with more availability of counterbalance shafts? Well, number one, if you're talking about this guy, that is around 17 grams. And that's a lot, right? You're going to know that. This did not get any heavier in order to do that. What happened was, if you look, you see that right there? All right. See if I can get it in. That right there. So the crown, remember we used to talk about cup face, and cup face would be like this, and the face would come around here, and it would be more here and less there, and it was better. Well, now what they've done is the crown, the triaxial weave compound, has now started right here. And that little extra there and all the way around, and starting here, the cap has gotten bigger where the head part has gotten smaller, and that's where they're saving the weight to redistribute it. Okay. Caesar Mora, how are you, sir? I just got my 2019 Big Bertha hybrid. Now I need some time to dial it in if this weather ever stops in Ohio. Dude, you are correct. I thought I could handle it, but I'm starting to be done with this weather already. Hello, Jeff. How are you, sir? Do you know anyone who would refurbish, regroove an old ping beryllium wedge? Ooh. I would try Golfworks. They would probably be the first guys, and they do a heck of a job. There used to be a second company out there called the Iron Factory, and I don't know if they're still out there or not. I've not heard much of them lately, but Golfworks certainly does it, and they actually do a pretty good job, particularly for the beryllium. They should be able to do it. Of course, you know the old beryllium. You're gonna get a lot of pushback on the beryllium because nobody wants to get beryliosis anymore. So you be prepared for that. Peter, how's it going? Al on Facebook from the Space Coast. I even say that every time I see that, I think of Space Ghost. But there you go. Cheers. Getting on with everyone like everyone else. Stay safe. The wife and I are due to have. Well, congratulations, sir. Very good. Nothing that really makes a family than than a kid. Congratulations. That's awesome. And I hope he or she is extraordinarily healthy and gives you all the concerns that you can possibly stand. And that would mean that they're healthy and well, and they're going to take off and help the world.
And our baby's 35 today.
Oh, and speaking of that, let's go back here. And I must say that, you know, the funny thing that you're saying that, but today is my my oldest birthday. Today is it. So happy birthday, Travis. Well done, sir. And 86? Born in 86. He's old now. That makes me older. Another one. Adelaide, South Australia. John, thank you, sir, for checking in. And early in the morning, as Greg has told me. And thank you so much. Some Australian representation. Well done, guys. Thank you. And speaking of that, there's Greg. If you hear anything about the lab putter, the face supposedly stays straight to the line of the putt. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So the guys hate it when I say this, but I call it target line balancing only because an old putter in the day called the positive putter was balanced so that it stayed face straight up. And they were real big, and they would do the traveling, what I called the traveling circuit of all the local state fairs. And they would make a killing on it, and it was really quite nice. I actually had quite a few of them, and they stayed online, so it would stay like this. So when you go to balance a putter, you know, when you do most putters, they would, you know, you get the flippy part of it, or you get this face balance part of it, right? This one stays up like that, and that's how that would be. Well, lab putter. Lab putter does a little bit more. That's when I tell them that they do this, they get mad at me because there's more to it, right? And the shape is very, you know, personally the shape is very disconcerting. But if you can, you know, if it doesn't bother you, then this thing can be a very, very good putter. Now it also has a grip on it that's, I think they call it face forward, and it locks you in, and it locks you in forward. It's a different style of grip. And all that combined is one of those, it is basically wants you to go straight back and straight forward. Now, the head itself, as far as the manufacturer, is very, very nice. And but there is a truckload of science between the balancing in it to make it go. I think... was it Peter Finch, the other YouTuber out there? He was gaming that for quite some time when he was struggling, and he seemed to like it. Furnace Star, there we go. What experience, business advice would you give? David, this is there is not enough time on this what's left to tell you. There is not. But I will tell you what I've told everybody, even in the business classes I have given. Number one, it is something that you love, so it is something you should do good at. Number two, it is a business. Treat it as such. I can't stress that one enough. Do your homework, do your planning, get all the things that whatever you need to do, because I know the laws in the UK are significantly different for businesses than they are here, because I looked into it once. And get all your I's dotted, all your T's crossed in order for you to be successful in business, right? Now, golf, just like you're doing here, like we do here, golf is a very reputation-driven area. And golfers are very traditional. We all know that. We all are, right? We all like what we like, and we rarely get out of our lane. Provide the best service you can provide, and take care of you and the family if that's where you're going with that, and treat everybody as that you want them to come back, and you'll be fine. And never stop learning, right? Never stop learning. And if you ever look, David, if you ever get into and I throw this out for a lot of guys, if you ever get into a spot where you need something, just send me an email. All right, Steve, about 36 degrees when I hit the morning got out, though. 36 degrees. Anybody gets out 36 degrees, woo! There, you got my respect. There you go. That ought to be, for you, that might not be enough. Based on what I saw that you hit before, that might not be enough, bud. You might want to make sure. Knee surgery Wednesday, Willard. So prayers for Willard. And we will be putting out an extra one. You guys, so what do you guys think? Would you guys like to see one on Thursday or a Friday, or what would be a good second day to see a video? Okay, Charlie. Ooga, that's right. Chris, how are you, sir? I couldn't putt until I accidentally made a counterbalance putter. I put a shaft in that was counterbalanced by someone I bought off eBay and had a tad more. There you go. I like counterbalancing. I think it does a lot. Now, you know, I have what's called balance certified, and they're varying weights. And so not everybody needs the same weight. And I think that's where we're missing the boat in a lot of this. Some people may need a number 5, which I think is 50 grams, or a 7 or a 9, or, you know, something in between. And you need to really, that's what the testing is for, to make sure what you got. But if it works right now, hey, have at it. I put in a Scotty Cameron pro-plated head. Well done, Chris. Well done. Nicely done. Ooh. You're going to like them. I'm here to tell you, I've been practicing. So I guess now's a good time to tell you guys, because we're only about 7 minutes away. I took my first digital lesson, and Mrs. McGolf Robin got it for me for Christmas. Thank you, Mrs. McGolf Robin. She didn't say anything, so she must be listening somewhere else. And it was with, oh my God, I just draw a blank. Oh, Mike Malaska. Duh. Sorry, Mike. Mike Malaska, he's on YouTube as well, but he golfed with Nicholas back in the day, and he had some. And the reason why he caught my eye, why do you pick an instructor? Well, it's somebody you think you can communicate with, and they're talking a language that you can hear, and that's really one of the biggest drawbacks that a lot of instructors / the coach-student relationship, even the fitter-golfer relationship, you've got to be able to communicate in such a fashion that that person can hear you, and the golfer's got to be comfortable with you. And while I've always done my fittings here, I've always struggled with trying to talk about weight shift and getting your weight to the front and all these things, and I couldn't ever get anybody to give me a reason, or even a satisfactory reason for that matter, that I got a 2x4 drill once, and it didn't work worth a darn. And so this guy, he came up and the first thing he talked about weight shift and what it was and what it wasn't and how to get where you needed to be. And it was like a light bulb going off. And I was like, I got to listen to this guy a little bit more. And I started listening to a lot of his other YouTube things. And the things he started talking about made so much sense to me. And I'm like, oh, I got to start trying it. And honestly, I can, attribute it, other than some practice, attribute a lot of my scores going low to some of the techniques I applied. Well, I got the lesson. Of course, technology, what it was, he couldn't see the video I sent him, but I turned this around, this camera, and I turned it around, and he said, take a couple of swings. And, and in typical guy fashion, he says, he starts off the conversation, well, here's where you're screwed up. And knowing how he talks after watching the videos and stuff, it was just funny. Some people wouldn't take that very, very well. I thought it was funny, and we got along famously. And he showed me some things to do and some drills to work on and things like that. And I've had it for just under a week, and I did the drills every day, save today so far, and went out and I took a leap of faith, and I hit these with the new swing. The tweak swing, and the results are it's just so much better. But I'm still working on a feel. I can see where I would go right back. In any case, I would go right back to it. But certainly that's cool, and that's where I'm really working on trying to pass the PGA's PAT, and it's just a bucket list thing. It's just an attempt. If I get to join the PGA, fine. If I don't, that's fine too. But I want to test myself, and this is one way to go. So you're going to hit them about 100 yards further than me, but I've got them. I think they are smooth. I think they're soft, but they got a sweet spot in them about that big. All right, so you can't be off too far. The big max bags, I really don't know too much about those, so I can't really tell you. But well done, sir. Those are great. Miss Lorinda, how are you, sir? Can't wait to see more of the tools of the trade. Any tricks to bending a Wishon hybrid without a hybrid? Huh?
Woman.
What's that?
She.
I said she, didn't I?
No, you said sir.
Oh, Lorinda, sorry. Any tricks to bending Wishon hybrid without a bending machine? No, there isn't any. You've got to be able to clamp that thing, and you got to hold it securely. Even though this is not a Wishon, you've got to be able to hold this thing and clamp it securely in order to be able to grab that. All right, this has got to be grabbed, period. And Wishon does it even a clamshell. I'm probably one of the prehistoric guys that still has the bending unit that does it. But that's where I would go with that, right? Unless you can grab that whole head, or at least the very beginning of it, and just hold it down real solid, that's a tough call. My suggestion is find a guy in your neck of the woods and see if they'll bend it for you, because they should be able to if they've got a bending machine, an iron bending machine. Vincent, sir, how are you? Vinny, well, here you go. Dun, dun, dun. Huh? Right here. Dun, 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 dun. I am extraordinarily happy with how they turned out. Very, very consistent. Now, for the wedge. There we go again. Boom. And boom. And boom. You are going to like the wedges. You are going to like the wedges for sure. Okay, let's keep going. Greetings. Fitted last year. Bought a 620 MB blend set. Okay, coming from TaylorMade M2s. Hopefully the standard lofts will help. 620 MBs. I'm not sure what a 620. Oh, the new, this is the new, is this the new Titleist set? And M2s. The standard law, unless you're hitting them out of sight. But the, the MB cavity back, I'm all about, I love a blended set. I just think it's just the neatest thing. And it still appeals to my mind's eye that, you got some set of irons to perform one task, one set of irons to perform another task. And if you're a ball striker, there's no doubt you're probably going to like it. Pascal, how are you, sir, from Quebec? Thank you. Thank you for watching. Jacob, sir, what kind of steel extensions do you recommend? Well, I don't know the manufacturing name of them, but the guys that sell them are Golf Works. I've used them for a countless number of years and have yet to be failed. And they come in different sizes, so you need to know the size of shaft that it's going into. They have at least 3 or 4 different sizes. So you want to be very, very particular on that one. Well, there you go. See, look at that. Chris is the rubber cement guy, like we were talking about. I didn't know you could blow it off with air. I've never known a guy that could blow them off with air. You're the first guy. It's always been this wrestling match trying to get them off. But okay, now you know. Very good, sir. Thank you for the information. Miracle Man, use your phone. It will align the perfect grip. There you go. Using all steel shafts, would you ever use graphite in your wedge shafts? Well, Pedro, as far as, I was saying that Acura makes a 125 shaft, and it is very, very, very stout. And if you were using regular steel shafts and you needed to go up and you were looking, and it was all you had, and you were looking to reduce even a little bit of vibration, I would not have any issues with going there. It might seem a little weird, but I don't think I would ever go light. I'd just go the other way around. Oh, I'm being told I'm going over, so we got to check what else we got here. What do you think about the new Apex 21 series? All I've seen is pictures, Matthew. All I've seen is pictures. I am hoping they're as great as the pictures look to be. And the minute they show up, they're going into the room where I'm standing, and I'm hitting a ton of balls just to make sure. Oh, to make that thing balance. You're right. Joe Lane, Matthews, North Carolina. Thank you, sir, for using Facebook. Well, they do have a single iron of hybrid irons. Well, they do have the new one that Sean's got is kind of that way. In the upper end, it's kind of where they're a little bit bigger shell on the backside. They're almost there. Really? I didn't think that, but I'm not compressing the ball like you are either, though. So there you go. Oh, how accurate are pings fitting charts? It depends on how accurate you are. I'd say they get you in the realm. Are they going to be dead solid on? Probably not, because there's always that little kink in there to be 100%. But I'm sure that gets you into the wheelhouse for sure. John Kelly, how are you, sir? Bloomington, Illinois. We're all over the map now. Here we go. And I went all the way to the bottom. Here again. Using a 48-inch shaft, I can't get the swing weight down. It's like E3. Well, it's because it's a 48-inch shaft, brother. M5 head without a grip, it's even. It's E weight even. What? Without a grip at all, it's E weight Well, it should be. It should actually be higher without a grip. In fact, it's probably going to be, if it's 40 grams, 410, it'll probably be closer to almost to the top of the F, or into the top of the E's, almost in the F's. Length is the big deal here on this one, guy. The only way you're going to get out of this, because you can't mess with the driver head, is you're going to have to back weight it. And I don't know if you necessarily want to do that, or you go get an extraordinarily light 48-inch shaft. Here's Doug. Checking in from Florida. What ball do you like and why? Well, I'm a Callaway guy for the most part, although right now I'm going to be putting some Mizuno irons in the bag and some Wilson wedges. So saying I'm a Callaway guy, I don't know. However, I do like the performance. I'm running around two different balls. The Callaway Chrome Soft, I really like that one, the new one. I think anybody can hit that one. The ERC is another one that I think most people could hit, and then in the Wilson, I like that Wilson Professional that just came out, that Wilson Staff. I like that one as well. Now they had a Duo Plus. Those are the two that I would probably go for, and mostly because, like all of us, we have a favorite golf ball, a favorite brand, and we tend to stick with it. I used to run with the Bridgestone E Series or the RX line. That was a phenomenal ball as well. Never really took to the Titleist or any of the other balls. They just didn't hit very well for me. But right now, the Chrome Softs and the Wilson for me are the way to go. Look like a snowman of the morning. Well, thank you, Calvin, Mr. Calvin. I don't know which one. You got a picture. There's a lady in the front. Alrighty, I got two more here, and then we got to go, guys and gals. Hello from Brooklyn. Thank you, sir. Sean, thanks for joining us. Question, what are your thoughts on a torque? I have a driver with 5 degrees of torque. 5 degrees, wow. And a swing about 104, and it feels longer and a great fit. Torque is the resistance to twisting. Typically, the higher the number of the torque, that means the more twisting it does. The lower number, the least amount of twisting. Normally, when you have a high level of torque, it means you're way more flexible. The only people that I know of that really dealt with torque... My dog has just got let out because Robin told me it was the end of the show. So the only people that really developed with torque were UST. They had the VTS series. And yeah, it did work, but normally if you're smoother and fluid with your swing, you can deal with a lot of torque, higher numbers, and it'll feel just great. So even at a higher swing speed, if you can deliver the club, you're very rhythmic, and that's a good thing. Okay. I got this one, and we'll do one more, and then I got to go, guys. Have you used the Cobra fitting, or used the Cobra fitting clubs with lie adapters? I bought the club and can't find the adapter. No, sir, I have not. I have not, and they don't make too many aftermarket ones either, do they? And so they don't. So I don't know. You might try eBay. eBay would probably try that. I would try eBay. We've got some aftermarket adapters that you couldn't find anymore from there. Just try eBay. All right. Here we go, Scott. The pause. Yeah. That's the very one I got, Scott. So there you go. Here we go, Ray. Southern Cal, late releasing their new equipment. I think they are to an extent, but tomorrow the embargo is lifted off. They've already done the Wilson Staff iron. The D9 is going to be their next release, and that's the irons and their whole D9 line. But the irons and the hybrids are tomorrow, And then they have another one coming. It's not until February, but it's not even worth mentioning because they're not going to have it. But it's all about whatever the company decides that they think is the way to go, right? And so that's what we want to do. What? Never regret this man? Oh, geez. I was looking. I think I got a spam question. Okay, guys, last one. There's another one uses rubber cement. Allows you to save the grips, blows off with air. Oh, this is the same guy. There you go. So there we go with all that. All right, Chris, thanks for the information. Okay, guys, like as usual, thank you for taking the time. Australia, the UK, my goodness, Scotland, all over the US. You know, we got into Canada. It's awesome. And again, remember tomorrow at 7 o'clock in the morning, the new Wilson D9 review is coming out. We're going to have the Callaway one right after that. I'm guessing Thursday or Friday at the same time frame. We'll let that one go. And then we will get right back into the tools of the trade because I got 2 of them ready to go for that. So guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and let's see your scores. Go low.